the second segment of the webinar series, and it's all about Kahoot for online teaching. This session will be delivered by the founder herself, Maria Zahir. She's a highly skilled teacher trainer with extensive knowledge on the latest, most effective teaching methodologies. She holds fellowship in higher education and masters in TESOL and applied linguistics from the UK. Ms. Maria has worked in esteemed institutions and received multiple recognition awards for her research in teaching methodologies and development workshops, which have proven to be both creatively innovative and best practices for an ever-changing generation of students. This initiative was taken amid COVID-19, where teachers and students are going through challenging times, aiming to equip the teachers with educational tools that will give their online classes much-needed oomph. Her motto is "Keep the wheel of learning moving." There are 3 more webinars coming up. On October 3rd, the last of the webinar series is about Quiz-Is. This app will be used for every subject to play in class or at home. Pick any existing quiz or create your own for review, formative assessment, and much more. On October 10th, it's about everything Google. Get empowered by Google functions that you may have not explored before. Learn about interesting features to make your online classes more interactive. On October 17th, it's all about engaging activities for online teaching. Keeping yourself entertained and educated is just a quiz away, whether you want to have some fun or learn about a specific topic. Please mark these dates down for the upcoming webinars. You'll also receive updates of these events via email. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Please use the chat box to post any questions, and they will be answered at the end of the webinar. Also, if you wish to contribute to our initiative as a community service, please use the link provided in the chat box to submit your abstract. Now, without further ado, I'll request Ms. Maria to enlighten you all with her expertise.
Sorry. Hello, and thank you everyone. Thank you for introducing me and welcome to today's webinar. It is all about Kahoot, and you will get empowered by an interesting tool that will give you some extra hands-on knowledge of how to improve your online teaching and make it very interactive. So before I start, I want you to use the link provided in the chat box and reply to this poll, please. So I know where are you joining us today from. So where are you joining us today from? Only use the link provided in your chat box and give us your feedback. United Kingdom. Where else do we have today's participants? Saudi Arabia. Pakistan, welcome. Please use the link provided in the box to respond to your answers. What about the rest of the participants? Jeddah, Riyadh, Philippines. Happy to have you all over, and I hope it will be an enlightening session for you throughout our webinar. Right, so I will move on to today's topic, and that is, what am I talking about? So what is really Kahoot and why you should use this? First of all, it's a free online teaching and learning app. I think this is a very bonus point for you to encourage and use this app. Interactive features, and we all lack engagement in our online teaching, and this will empower you to have interaction and engagement in your classrooms. Gamification, it's again an innovational part of Kahoot, and it will have motivation, when there is competition and there is some intrinsic motivation with the students, that's where the motivation kicks in. So it is a complete package of somewhat to encourage your students to and use Kahoot in your classrooms as teachers. Why, you may ask again, why you should still. And yes, this is the fact. These are the facts not made up by me, but the facts that were presented on Kahoot's website themselves. Players are more than 200 countries, over 50 million public games available, and 97% of Fortune 500 use Kahoot. So I think it's already convincing enough why you should use Kahoot in your online classes. What else does it give? So if, as I said, it's engaging, it will engage your students right away. It keeps the students active, and the interaction parts come in there. When there is active engagement, comes in the motivation. And when it is challenging and intrinsically motivation with the gamification element, that's where success comes in, and that's where your learning outcomes will come in, and you will achieve the game wherever you will find. And then the best thing is the love of learning. So through playing Kahoots in your classroom, it is you are breaking the monotony of doing typical PowerPoint lessons and just presenting and lecturing and using some generic kind of game or pulling up a generic worksheet. Instead, you will pull up Kahoot and pass it on to your students, and you will learn all these steps today in this webinar. Okay, so when can you use this? So these are the different ways you can use it at different stages of your lesson. You can use it as a warm-up. You can use it as an input, as an initial input of your lesson of that day, or you can use it as a review. So it depends as you as the teacher, how you perceive and how you want to use this Kahoot in your classroom. You can share this Kahoot as an extra practice for your students. You can use it as a stirrer and a settler, or support and extension for the whole class. We're not focusing just on the weak students, but as the whole class, as an extra support and extension that you think, oh, they can use that extra time, or that's a self-paced study time that they can use all this support and move on from there. So these are the stages you can use in a lesson plan. Right, so once again, I will direct you to the chat box. And this is a very, thought-evoking question for me. Games can be very fun. They can be, okay, I know it's fun. I've created so many worksheets, or I found my students to having fun. But did you achieve the learning outcome you wanted to achieve? Or it was just fun and there was no engagement? So sometimes we as teachers just plan things or over plan things at times, but it does not help in that way that it should. So if you could please use the link provided in the chat box and share with me your thoughts, what you think, what is fun versus engagement. What's your definition as educators, fun versus engagement, please? Kindly use the link provided in your chat box to share your thoughts with me and all our participants. What is your definition of this notion, fun versus engagement? Those who have joined us now, if you can see, the link is provided in the chat box. Kindly share your response about fun versus engagement. Students are not learning and just having fun, okay? What else? Who else would like to share their thoughts? Fun means playing, okay. And what is engagement then? If you have engagement with your students, they will feel that it's fun and to be in your class, okay? Anybody else would like to share their thoughts? Fun means pleasure of enjoyment, okay? And what about engagement then? Who else would like to share their thought about engagement? It's fun when they really get the lesson. Yes, engagement, involvement in the classroom. It's fun that they should get engaged and learn the topic. Interesting thoughts? Okay. Okay, great. Very interesting thoughts from all the educators and participants joining us today. Teachers need to engage while having fun. I think this is a very key thought that has been just shared. Engagement means cooperation. What kind of cooperation? Engagement means cooperation from the students. They can be only engaged while they have the cooperation or not. So yes, interesting. Very interesting thoughts. Fun is the best part of engagement. Yes, of course, we as teachers think it is the best part of the engagement. Thank you so much for your input. I appreciate your thoughts shared in here today. So this is my definition of what is fun versus engagement. For me, fun can be distracted at times unless it's supported by a task that connects the doer instantly with an intrinsic motivation. So this is what I find. The webinar jams, all three online tools I've been sharing is all about intrinsically motivating your students to have the fun, but yet you as a teacher achieve the learning outcome. And for me, engagement involves with well-devised pedagogy. This is very important. You can plan a lesson, you can over-plan a lesson, over-enthusiastic lesson at a time, but sometimes it is not well-devised. That was intended to achieve learning outcomes. Otherwise, it was just all play with no gain. They can be very connected. They will be responding you, all this and that. There will be excitement. But when at the end of it, you will realize it was just all play and no gain. So this is just my thought. So I'm putting it forward with all the participants to think about it and reflect on it. Which part do you think you agree or you don't agree? Right. So what comes back to what? So this is all about Kahoot. Kahoot is a teaching tool. Most importantly, that we, our educators, are looking for a distant learning tool, digital interactive tool. It is self-paced learning for higher education or all age of students, an assessment tool for students and teachers to assess. Collaborative part is unfortunately at the moment to face-to-face teaching, but I'm sure soon we will go back to it. And for all digital interface. That means it can be used on a mobile or a laptop or a tablet, whatever you or your students are using nowadays to connect with in your classroom. So what are the features? How can I use this tool? And what are the features that will help me use this in my class? So these are all the features that you will learn about today. And I will show you all these when we reach to the action part and walk you through all the steps, how you can use these features. So the most amazing feature is the creator part, when you are able to create a Kahoot according to your liking and according to the subject you are teaching and sharing it with the class. I know that's where it comes. I have created something. How will I know the learning outcome of that task? This is where the reports and analytic part comes in, where you can view the reports of your students in just a click of a button, and you will see this at the action part of this webinar. The gameplay, yeah, the fun and engagement comes with the gameplay, and the learning outcome is achieved, the end goal is achieved by looking at the reports, what you have created. And sharing and organization is again an interesting part. If you want to use it as in your online classroom, you can share it embedded in any LMS system you are using. You're using Google Classroom, Moodle, or whatever system you like. You're sharing to communicate with your students. You can share that if you don't want to use this feature in your online classes.
Sorry to interrupt you, Maria. Your screen is not, being shared. Could you show your, slide share option?
It is on SlideShare.
We are unable to see.
Are you all able to see, or is just?
No.
Can you please let me know?
I think
No.
Okay. Thank you. I will just check again.
Mhm.
Now you can see my screen?
Yep. Could you please, make it in the slideshow mode? Yep, that's great.
That's fine. Thank you very much for letting me know. I appreciate that. Okay, so I was talking about the features. So here I want to build on more on it. Like I said, it is an assessment tool as well. So how does it help you as an educator to use this assessment tool? You will be able to review the content, test practice or a preparation for a test, reinforce challenging content in your classroom, and insights-driven instruction. I think this is very important as a teacher, as an educator, to have insights of the students of which part of the lesson or which part of the content taught was still not understood correctly. So when you go to the report parts, this is where you can see the insights of that result of that Kahoot, and you can reinforce that in your next classroom. Higher education. I know we are educators from all over the world who can see, who are teaching different levels. So at higher education engages larger numbers, because if we are university educators, at times we have class more than 100 and or within 100 or 50. So it engages everybody. It's such a great tool. It breaks the ice and spark discussion. So it depends at how you want to use it. Motivates and retention driven. This is very important for me, especially as an educator, to devise something that is retention driven. Otherwise, it's all play and no game. Gauge opinions. This is something very interesting at higher level of students. You can give them the power of creating their own tools and use it. Facilitates students at the self-paced learning. I think this is very interesting. It is not just for higher education. In fact, it can be catered to any age group you are teaching nowadays. Interactive lessons. So this is something very interesting. You can embed the link of Kahoot in your normal PowerPoint that you're using, and instantly it creates an interactive lesson in your class. And I will build on this interactive lesson thing in my upcoming webinars in Everything Google part. So increase participation, step up formative assessment. Teachers sometimes, they're so overwhelmed with work and everything that they are unable to create formative assessments again and again, but they want something instantly and quick. Sometimes online resources are not enough. So Kahoot also facilitates you in that way. Control lesson dynamics. Combine interactive questions with slides. You will see this in a minute. And insights from reports again. Learning with fun. This is very important. So focus on accuracy, how accurate the answers are of the students. Foster creativity and learners into leaders. This is when you give the power to your students, give the autonomy for them to create their own Kahoot and share it with their classrooms on different topics if you like. So the self of achievement and the sense of, the contentment they will do and the excitement that will quickly build up learners into leaders. Rather, teachers taking it all the steering wheel, giving the students a chance to be the leaders and share their Kahoots with their students in the class. And distance learning, we all are going through this process. So reach out to students. You can instantly reach out to your students and connect them with your Kahoot. Provide flexibility. That means if you're unable to do it in your class, you can share the link, like I said, in LMS, and you can give them different ways to do it and their own self-paced learning time. Easier access to learning. It is the easiest thing that is very accessible, just a click of a button. And when we will all do it together, in a team in the end, and you will have the taste of how it will all be. So do you have any questions so far before I move on, please? Can you hear me properly, and can you see my slides as well? Great. Okay. So let me move on. So what is today's agenda? So today's agenda is, are you ready to become an epic Kahooter? Are you? Has that given you the motivation to do so? We can't see the slides. Please pin me to your screen. You will be able to see the slides. Just pin me to your scenes, because as the participants add on, the slide changes. Thank you very much. Okay, so what are the things you're going to learn today? You will learn how to create a Kahoot, how you are able to teach it, assign it to your students, and how you can assess their learning outcome by doing that Kahoot. Right, so let's get started. So as soon as you go to kahoot.com, this is the website you will see. So here as well, there are different options, how you can use it in your school. It is not only for educators, it can be used in a workplace for your presentations, e-learning, whatever. Or you as a parent can also use different ways to help support the learning of your child at home. So there are these three options that can be used. So how can you log in and move on? If you have ever used an account of Facebook or email, it is that simple. So when I click on login, so I'm logged into my dashboard. So this is the dashboard that you will see when you have logged into your account. So when you log in, you are able to select whether you are an educator, a parent, or a student. So that was the first step that comes in, and normal email and contact details, and your account is created. So these are the 5 things I will show you in today's webinar. This is the home screen. Then if you can see, the right side is my name and my profiles and whatever I've done. My Kahoots are the things that I have created and ever used so far. And in the center are all the updates of Kahoot, what they bring add on daily basis, and you can keep up with the upgrades or whatever you like. So let's go on to the Discover part. First thing, I will start with Discover. What is Discover really? So Discover is hybrid sets that are pre-created and shared by teachers by lots of subjects. It's not just for English, it's not just for math, any subject you like, it's all. So these are free to use by different educators who have made the contribution public for other educators to use. Only the ones with the star are not on the free access, but this does not limit you. And I will show you an example. Like for example, I'm a teacher, I want to teach something tomorrow morning. I don't have time to create or a new Kahoot. I will try to find it here. For example, I want something for my biology class. So I will write biology and I will select. And you can see in just a click of a button, endless topics showed up, which are free for me to recycle in my class. And if you can see on the first one, the number of questions in that group, the topic is there, the subject is there, how many Kahoots are already available, ready-made for you. You can change the subject from here. You can see there are endless subjects, level of your students, more filters where you can select you're a teacher, you're a student. I'm sorry. Social use, the language, and there are many languages you can select from here where you can change it's in Arabic and all the languages, and you select on any one and you apply it, and then the filters, it filters to all the requirements you need. So for example, I want to start with the first one. I don't have time to create, I want this one. Okay, good. Structure of DNA, I've selected that. As soon as I've selected, I can see what are the questions that are already pre-made. Is it suiting to my requirements or not? I can click on show answers, and that will show me the multiple choice this teacher has already created for her students in all the questions. And this is how, okay, I'm happy, I'm ready. I will hide answers. I can play straight away, or I can share with my class. I will show you that in a second. But what if I don't like this first question? I want to change it. What if I don't like the fourth question? So the only way you can do that is you cannot edit straight away from this tab. You have to click on these three buttons and you have to duplicate this. Once you duplicate, it shows up in my Kahoot. So that as you can see, these are the list of my Kahoots that I have used in my class. I'm ready here. Now this option will help me edit this pre-made hybrid tool I want to use and recycle, and just maybe change a question or two or remove a question or two. If I want to remove, I can just press delete and this question will delete straight away. I want to add a question. So I have three options. I can add a question from here, or I can use a question bank. So let me show you a question bank first, and then I will build on how to add a question. So I will type a question. What is DNA, for example? And you can see straight away there were 222 questions already pre-made that you can recycle for your classroom. For example, I will take the first one and I will add this. And I still want to search more. I will type another question and so on and so forth. And then once I'm done, according to my satisfaction, I will close my question bank. And as you can see, it was created as a new question at the end of the Kahoot. I want this question to be on the top. Okay, no problem. I will drag it to the whatever level I want this to appear, or the first question of my quiz. So it was pretty simple. In a click of a button, you were able to, with the effortless time, you were able to have a question that was pre-made with multiple answers and everything. Right, okay, I still didn't find it. I'm still struggling to find a question. What else can I do, you may ask? So you can add your own question according to your liking. And if you can see here, there are two options that are free, quiz and true and false. The type answers, puzzles, these open-ended questions, and the rest of the options with the pound sign are not on free options. But this does not restrict you again. You can do endless things, and I will show you in examples how you can use them. Right, for example, there were multiple choice questions in the quiz version. Now I want a true and false. So I clicked on true and false. The template was created for me in a click of a button. Here I will type a question again. That's just for the sake of showing an example. What is DNA? Then just true or false. So what happens, the circles that are created, you have to select as an educator which answer is correct you think the student should get to know. So for example, for me, it is a false answer. I'm just showing you an example. It might not be connecting with the question at the moment, but I'm just showing you as an example so you understand how I can select the right answer if I'm creating something new for my students. For example, the answer was false. So this circle helps you to change the time you want your students to answer this question. So at the moment it's at 20 seconds. I want them to take 30 seconds to answer. I can alter the points they will receive, high and low, according to the challenge of the question you have posed to your students. You can add an image from the library. You can add a video link from YouTube as well for them to see and reflect, and upload an image. That's how, as an educator, can do. Now, I want more true and false. Do I have to go through all the steps? No, you can just duplicate this question and retype a new question and keeps on adding up. And again, you can drag it and drop it to the place in the queue you want it to be. Okay, so I'm all set and done with the hybrid Kahoot I found. What should I do next? So you just press done. Once it's done, these options will show up as how you can see what you have done is correct or not. Okay, I will show you when we create a Kahoot, I will show you all these options in the next part of the webinar. Okay, then another way to see it as well, if you don't want to, you can just do preview and you can see your question is showing up, how the picture will show up, how the true and false will show up, right? So what's next is, how can I play with it? I will show you in a while. I'm sure it is clear for you. If you're still unsure, please ask me now. Is it clear so far? Is it clear so far? Right, thank you. So, okay, so now how can I save it? Where will I find it? All the edits I've done to my Kahoot. So preview I've showed you. These options I will show you next. Done. Once I press done, it goes in my Kahoot. So you can see here, it has popped up in my list, duplicate of my Kahoot. Now I can play it straight away with my students. Number of questions have increased to 17 from 14. And then I can make it as my favorite as well and make a star. And it will show up in my favorites option, if you can see here. So this is something which already pre-made Kahoots and you can alter according to your liking. Right. So how can I create it then? I still didn't find, I'm still struggling. So there are 3 ways to create a Kahoot in 3 different options. One is by using the new create in my Kahoot list, or using a create button that is up on the ribbon here on the blue ribbon on your right hand side. So I will use this or use this thing. Both are the same, both have same functions. So I will create a new one. And you can see Kahoot has pre-made templates that you can use in your classroom. So the free options is create and teach an interactive lesson, and teach with slides is something that's not free at the moment. But the most amazing ones, the free options, and I love using that in my class, is the formative assessment template. The blind Kahoot templates is an amazing thing for a teacher to connect and engage the students straight away, where they can do it as a preview of a lesson. Tap on the background knowledge a student you can check on before building on, and excuse me, before building on, and then I will show you what all questions can be created. Let me start with the basic one. So the basic one is a new Kahoot, create. As you can see, it is pretty similar to the one you saw when we were editing a previous one. So here I will just create, for example, I have young learners and I want them to connect, check the spellings, what they have learned. So I will just type a generic question. Did I get it right, for example? I will write my options of what spelling I'm targeting on. So, random selection of spellings as distractors. So I will upload an image for young learners or any learners you wish. So this was something pre-downloaded on my desktop. So the picture was about a car. This is the correct option. So I've clicked it green. So you can even select 2 options, depends on the type of question you want to create for your students. So at the moment, I just wanted to check and understand the spelling of car. So that I've attached the picture, I've marked the right answer, and this question is ready. I want to add more. Again, it's the same process by adding questions of your own where you type, or use the question bank that I showed you earlier when we were editing a hybrid set. And something that is very interesting that I would like to show you, the new element again is from an import spreadsheet. For example, you have lots of questions pre-made in your worksheet or something, and you just want to copy paste that quickly and start the Kahoot straight away. So what happens is you can import from a spreadsheet. When you click that, there are pre-made templates that of Excel sheet that you can use from Kahoot. And it is very important to use this template to type your questions in or copy paste your question in, because it is a generic pre-marked template that you will upload later. And I will show you now how it will create the questions right away. So once you download, you can fill out and save it as an Excel sheet, and you drag and drop it here. So I have already a pre-made one to show you as an example for this training purposes. And I want to drag and drop here. So this was the Kahoot template that I had created earlier, and to show you and I'm ready to upload. So I just dragged it and dropped it. So there are 3 questions that were created, and I will just add questions so that it automatically adds to the question list. If you can see, it was all here. So I will quickly show you what this Excel sheet looks like. So once you download, this is the generic template of Kahoot. It is very important to use this template. If you make your own and try to upload, it will not work because they have marked it according to your liking. So I had 2 already questions added. I will just add 1 in front of you to show you. Is this again spelled right? Just to continue the theme we started. For example, quote. And then, for example, I want them to get the spelling of boat correct. Again, this is the timer I showed you where you can press off a button and change the timer. Here I want them to take 30 seconds, for example, to answer this question. Which answer am I aiming for? 1, 2, 3, or 4? I have to add that number. For example, I want boat to be the correct answer. I will press 1 and I will save. And I'll continue to the list of questions of how many questions, and you can create 100 at one time. So this is something also very helpful for teachers. And now I'm ready, and this is how I uploaded it, and it got added to my question bank. So this is something you can see. Home came in, the right answer was ticked for me. I can upload a picture like showed earlier, and it is ready to start. So once I'm done again, I can give it a title, for example, spelling. Description, it is for grade 5 or grade 3, for example, and I will press continue. So validating Kahoot, that means it is validating you if it's ready or not. So now I will show you from this Kahoot, which we have just created, how we can use these options. I can share it straight away with others. I want to test it, whether it really worked or not, or how I want to present it to my students. Let me show you this option first. When I click on this, if you can see, the mobile on the left-hand side is what the students see on their devices. And the screen, this big purple screen, is what you see as a teacher on your device, which you are teaching from. So the topic, I said spelling, so students know. As you can see, 50 players can play at one time. If you have a larger class, it will not restrict you. The team versus team option can be only used on face-to-face teaching, but player versus player is the classic version that you can use when teaching. So once I click on it, the music starts. I can adjust that. I can totally close that and lower it as to my liking. The code generates. I will tell my students to use this code. And I will enter. This is for me to understand. Oh, sorry. This is for me as a teacher to understand whether my students will get it the right way as I want them to present or not. So as soon as I enter the code, it asks me for a nickname. I put my nickname, or ask your students to keep their own names, so it will help you recognize who replied to what, and okay, go. So as you can see, as soon as the name starts showing up, you will be able to see how many of your students. The number shows up here. The name of the students will start showing up. Once you're ready and you know all of your students are in, you can just press start. And as you can see, the game starts loading on the devices as the phone or the mobile phone picture you can see on the left side. And the questions start showing up. So what students do, they look at your screen, this is the screen, and the colors and shapes they think is the right answer. For example, they think the spelling is car, they will just click that shape and that's it. It can see they have answered. So because at the moment it's just one, I am playing. You will get this taster soon when I will share the same Kahoot with you and we will do it together as common participants. So next and next, so it keeps on building up till you are done, and it will help you see, okay, all the 2 out of 4 questions are done. And once you're done with all this, you can just end it. You skip on it and you can see and end the game. So now I'm happy this game is ready. And once you have seen the podium shows who has won, who has not won. So this is an intrinsic motivation. Then students can see their names, who was the first, who was second, and who achieved the best. And they want to be at the top of the podium. So this is the intrinsic part. Students will get created. So this was the preview part. So play part and share. This is where you can share it right away using this link when you press copy. Or you can share the same Kahoot, writing the emails of your students or even your teachers who are collaborating with you. Or you can embed it in any social media or Google Classroom as an LMS system you've been using. So once you click on that, you can use the option and move on from there. Or just use this link and email them as you like. So it's at your own comfort. It does not restrict an educator to how you can share this Kahoot once it's ready. Again, I'm pressing done. And you can see in my Kahoots, it shows up. So now you may ask, how can I see how students have done and how can I see their reports? So when I go to Kahoots, these are all the list of Kahoots I have played with my students. I want to see what are the reports. So once I'm on my Kahoots, I will press reports. So all the list of Kahoots will show up how I've played it as a live, as a challenge, and whatever, it is finished or not, it is still going on. And when I click on the one, for example, I want to see how many people have done this, for example. So you can see how many players have played it. The percentage of the learning outcome, like 14% got it correctly. It's just an example to show you. The questions that were there, which question they got it and which question they were inaccurate. So this is the accuracy part where you can target them and see, okay, that means they just got these 2 questions. I need to build on these. So this is the instructional driven feedback you can get. You can give the feedback and the summary is also provided down here, question by question. So it is pretty simple. You go to Kahoot, my list will show up. I'll go to reports of individual lists. So for example, I want to show you this one. And the questions are there. Okay, so this is something I want you to see again. I don't want to play it in my class. I want to share it with my students, okay? For example, I want to share this quiz about present simple. I will press share from here and I can share like I showed you earlier. I want to give them as a challenge. So when I press play, what happens is the teach option is where you can use it in your class virtually straight away, or you can assign them as a self-paced learning in your class. So at the moment, I will show you assign, and when we will play it together in a second, I will show you the teach part. So assign, I want to assign them. I don't want to do it with me in my online classroom. I want to give it as a review. So once I press assign, it creates as a challenge for my students. The time I can adjust according to my liking, how long I want them, by what time I want them to finish that challenge. I want the timer to be on or off. So that's according to your liking. I want them to randomize my questions, nickname generator, or you want them to use their actual names. So once I'm done with all this, it creates a challenge. And here you can see this challenge is created for self-paced learning. How can I use it again? And you can see you can change the deadline if you think you have missed some point. You can end the challenge once it's done, or play yourself as well as a teacher and challenge your students to break your time and see if they can do it. So this is again a very motivational part for your students when you challenge them and they're able to do it in a very short of time, breaking your record if they can. So copy the URL and share it as you like. Embed it on Google Classroom or whatever you like. So copy the URL. For example, I want to take them to my Google Classroom. You select the class you want to share it with. I want to share it with G5. Action, it's an assignment. I pick this, and you can see you didn't have to add anything. The Kahoot was uploaded straight away. You adjust the points as you like, all students or just particular students. Write your instructions here, your title here, and you assign. So this is that simple. Something for self-paced learning is a very good option for you to use for your students. So the two ways were to just copy the links and share it according to any social media or any source you're using to communicate with your students, or just share it to Google Classroom or Team in a similar way. Right, so are you ready to get the taster of what Kahoot really is? Are you ready to get the taster now? Right, so I will share a Kahoot with you now. If you use the link provided in the box, kahoot.it, and now I will use the teach link, which I mean when I can use it in my online teaching straight away. So please click on that link. And the pin is loading for me. And can you please click on the device you're using to enter this pin and enter your nicknames. You will have a taster of how this works. If you could add your names, please, or a nickname, whatever you like. Can I have more participation, please? Thank you. So as you can see now in real time, how Kahoot looks like with the students. So they keep on adding their names and their names are showing up for you. You know 5 have added in. And you know the number of students you're sharing this Kahoot on the line. So this is also a good way for a teacher to keep track of how many students are there. Anybody else would like to join, or should I start the game to get the... Yes, the pin number is here that you can see on the screen. The pin number is highlighted on the top. Please enter that pin number. So when you want your students to use it, you will direct them to kahoot.it straight away. So they don't need to have an account as well. You don't have to ask your students to make an account or whatever. You as a teacher can just make the account, and that's where you can start with it. Okay, so without further delay, to utilize the maximum time, as you can see the learning outcome, and I will start this game. And you can see straight away, this was the title which I wanted to use. and it is as a quiz. So the question is the first one that has showed up, and these are the answers. Let's see who wins today in my participant. Can you please start adding in? So you can see that the timer is also going on, so you had just very less time to answer this question. Great, so you can see right away how you got the answers. I will stay quiet and I'll continue till you are able to do at least 5 of it. So the purple circle is the timer. And the number of answers are how many people have answered this question. And you can see right away the answers and the podium is showing up. So just 2 more. So once the timer is finished, it will automatically stop and show you all the answers. Here you can see the progress yourself as well. How many got it correctly and how many aren't sure what the answer was. So last one, and then I will finish up. As you can see, the scoreboard is also showing who's winning. So this is also the motivational part where the students will see while they're progressing. Last question. Okay, great. So you can see the progress as a teacher and also as students, they will understand. You can give them feedback right away or wait till the end. So I will stop here. As you could see, there were 4 out of 14 answered. So I will just show you this outcome of this one. So you can understand how you can end. I will end this game here and the podium will show up. So here you can see the winners. There is music to it. So you can see how exciting it is straight away. You don't want the music, it depends on the cultural aspect of where you're teaching. You can even mute it or you can start it as you like. So you can have it as a full screen, or you don't want it to be, or you can replay the animation for your students to see. So you can see how exciting it was. You got the taster of what Kahoot is, and I hope it helped you to connect straight away. And the podium part and the excitement that builds up with the music and everything is the most exciting part. The runner-ups are also there. So I can see the feedback again in the reports as I showed you earlier. Right, so that was pretty much it. I hope it was helpful for you. So now I have some time to answer your questions. So please, if you are still unsure of any question, please let me know. Yes, you can use it with the Zoom as well. You can use it on anything. You can, the same way, like I shared the link with you. I just said go to kahoot.it, and that's the only thing you will direct your students to. You will go to kahoot.it, direct your students to go there, and then they will just use that code that they will see on your screen like we just did, and that's how you can do it with your students. Students will see the questions on the screen like you saw now a while ago, individually as you were presenting. Any other question, any part that was still not clear for you? Please let me know any questions in the chat box if you are still not sure of. This webinar was recorded as well, and participants will receive a link to access this webinar later as well if you are unable to see. You can socialize with us